Well, it'd be weird for us not to talk about this because
Yeah.
it's going on right now. It's been all over the news. It's made news in the UK. It's made, obviously, it's all over the news in the US.
Yeah.
And it's about everything going on with the abortion ban in certain states.
Yeah, the Supreme Court decision that I believe it's because they will give the decision to states to say you can ban it if you want or don't want.
Yeah.
Overturning regulation.
It is mad, isn't it, that like the structure of how that works, where they're like, we're saying that now it's up to you guys.
Yeah.
So then they say we're against, for, against.
It's very weird. But we should start with, so we feel like it will be weird for us to ignore it because we get questions on it and like, what are your thoughts, what are your opinions on this? And we want to provide a fair discussion, but we also want to like say our piece to like say this is what we support just because we think what's happened is really wrong.
I think that if I got pregnant now and I was in America and I lived there, and it wasn't the right time for me to have a family, and I wasn't in a long, stable relationship, I would be absolutely devastated to have to go through the whole term of the pregnancy. So like, if you put just obviously, and I know how many other women would be in a way worse situation, financially, just everything. Like what kind of life that baby would have to have coming into the world, and maybe it wasn't wanted. It wasn't. It's really, really tough. I feel that this ban in certain states and what it will mean for women that need to lie and travel and go somewhere else or do things illegally to terminate pregnancy. Yeah.
Well, I can already preempt some comments as well because it happens all the time where someone goes, "It's none of your business. You're not even American. Like, stop talking." And I feel like to that, I would say, firstly, it's what we talk about all the time. American stuff. That is what we do. But also, I feel like it's a general human rights issue.
It is.
In the same way that I care about the fact that being gay is illegal in certain countries in the world, even though I'm not from Saudi Arabia, doesn't mean I won't try and like, in some way, at some point, try and help. You know, any way I can. It's the same as that. So just because we're not American doesn't mean it doesn't affect us.
Yeah, I think so too. You're right. It's a global issue. Everyone is talking about it because there's just, everyone's so shocked. I feel like my newsfeed was almost entirely like in shock about what's going on. I cannot believe, feels like the world's gone back 50 years. I saw a lot of talk around the fact that they were saying, you know, women are being more regulated than guns and stuff like that. And when people tell the story that way, you go, oh my gosh, that it does feel like that. But I also just wanted to touch on the other hand about the actual arguments against it. So why people feel so strongly that this should be banned. Because I had to go looking for the arguments against abortion because obviously it wasn't being presented to me. I feel like the way social media works is that as soon as you love heart a few things, it will then show you more of what you believe in to keep you on the app for longer. I was like Googling people, I was trying to click on their profiles and see what they were sharing, and there's obviously loads of people absolutely overjoyed by this news and by the fact that you know, they're saying that they are pro-life and every, you know, life begins at conception. So the moment sperm and egg meet, that is life. Life has begun. And it's just about, I think, where do we all agree when life begins? Do we feel life begins at conception, or does life begin when the baby's heart starts beating, or when the embryo starts to look like when does it start to look like an actual baby, and things like that. So here in the UK, there's a cut-off date as to when you can get an abortion, and I think it's like 22 weeks. I will double check, and I agree with that.
Yeah, there should definitely be a limit on it, because I think there is a point during a pregnancy where that is a baby in your tummy. Yeah. But again, it's personal opinion where I'm like, well, I don't believe that the moment of conception is life. I believe that means it's the potential of life. Yeah. But then, it does beg the question, well, when is it life? But again, people are saying, oh, this is a great day for religious freedom. But it's not, it's Christian freedom. But Jews apparently don't believe that life begins until a certain stage. I think it's maybe 4 weeks, or don't quote me on that.
That's interesting.
Apparently as well, Muslims don't have the same rules around abortion, so they're not anti-abortion. And it's like, so this isn't religious freedom, this is just the right-wing Christian Christian version of freedom. Because also I'm a Christian.
Yeah.
I don't believe abortion should be illegal.
Yeah. There's 24 weeks in the UK. So obviously it is quite late in the pregnancy.
Yeah.
And obviously a lot of people would disagree that that's okay. They'd obviously say there's definitely a baby there, that's live, you're murdering a child. But it's just a really hard conversation. I remember going to Catholic school and writing essays about should abortion be illegal or not, and I remember getting an A star, so like top marks on my essay for writing that abortion is absolutely wrong and it shouldn't ever happen. And they showed us videos in class of like a scraper going into the womb in an ultrasound and taking away this baby, and it was like a really embryo like level, but what happened in the video was the mouth of the baby appeared to go like that, almost like it was screaming. And our religious education teacher, that's what RE stands for in UK classes, was going, see, look, the baby's screaming, it doesn't want it to happen. And I think it was really hard because I feel like at school we were taught, I don't want to say indoctrinated, but I feel like that is the message we all had to absorb, like this is absolutely wrong. I think the only exception they said was if the baby was a result of rape, so we were able to say that in our essays. But I think, you know, the story we're seeing is that if a woman doesn't want to have a baby, she shouldn't have to have a baby. So the choices we have in life are being taken away from a lot of women, and I do think that is very sad. I agree that there is life in the womb after a certain stage, but there's also the life of the woman holding the baby, and it's just a really difficult scenario. The whole thing is really hard and really sad because, you know, we're taking the power out of the woman carrying the baby, with the power is then out of their hands if what they're doing is now deemed illegal, and doctors could face prison sentences if they're caught doing it in an illegal way. So I just think it's very complex, and there's clearly not been two sides argued.
Well, I think it's the hypocrisy, isn't it, as well? Like the people campaigning against abortion. Again, I agree that, like, I do think at some stage it does become a life, and abortion shouldn't be legal after a certain time. I don't know what that time should be, but I don't think it should be banned completely, because if it does, then suddenly you're sentencing loads of young women to death that are going to go and now get backstreet abortions because it's illegal, maybe have complications, maybe they'll kill themselves because they don't want to have this child. So it's like, okay, so at what cost? So you've saved the babies potentially, but you haven't saved the women. And then the hypocrisy as well of like the whole gun thing, which we won't get into, but it's like, oh, so you care about, you're pro-life when it comes to babies in the womb, but you're not pro-life when it comes to innocent children getting shot in a school. Like,
that's mad.
And I don't understand American politics. Why? The current president is obviously pro-abortion, pro-choice. So how on earth can he not override the Supreme Court? Like,
I don't know.
The country setup just seems completely wrong, because he's blocked from banning guns. He's blocked from enabling abortion, and it's like, and vice versa as well. It seems that if you know, Donald Trump was still president and he wanted these things, he wants to keep guns, like even if he wanted to get rid of them, he couldn't, or like it feels like there are so many blocks, and I'm like, why is this allowed to happen?
Why are you so like weak? Or are you weak? Or
what's the point of a president if you can't enforce laws?
If you really are sad about this, make it not happen. Obviously I don't understand the structure of how things work. And I don't understand either now, in this current situation, if a woman has to lie to go and get an abortion somewhere like California, what does she say at the airport or however she travels there? Does she have to be dishonest about where she's going and what she's doing?
You're meaning with the border control?
You know, any security, you go through the airport, you just put your bags through. I mean, I know it's not going to a different country, but there must be a level of security going through some sort of check. What do you say? Is it okay or is it not okay? What can they do? What can't they do? I keep seeing things on Twitter where women in America are telling other women to delete their menstrual cycle apps. So these like apps you can track your menstrual cycle. I know I use my one on my Apple Watch where I just say I've got symptoms, my period's arrived, period's finished. So you can use these apps to tell you when you're most fertile, if you're trying for a baby, or when you're not very fertile, when you're least likely to be fertile. So perhaps you could have unprotected sex. It's not a great, it's obviously not a method of contraception at all, but it's a way that I was told when we were in Catholic school that there's a way to prevent pregnancy if you really didn't want one.
And that's the worrying thing of what will come next, because contraception will be next, because Christians also believe that if you're on the pill, that's abortion as well, because conception happens and then the pill flushes it out. So contraception will be next, gay marriage will be next as well, like all of these things. So it's really worrying of what it sets a precedent for.
Really crazy. I remember when we learned about contraception as well at school, and they said that every method of contraception is killing a baby. So I have contraception, and that the contraception I use would be deemed that I'm killing a baby.
That would be like, because you're stopping life from happening.
I actually really liked the teacher that taught the class, but the content was actually really toxic in a way when I look back at it, because she actually said stuff like, if God wanted us to have a little condom on our basically on our dick, then he would have put one there to stop us having babies. But he didn't.
On-off switch.
Yeah, like he would have, if he wanted us to cover it up, he'd have put one there for us to do that, but he didn't. So I was thought, oh right, if God wanted us to stop us from reproducing, and have made a way for us to do that. It's just like the stuff you hear as a kid is mad. So I don't know. I just think we all have choices in life, and now there are women in parts of America that no longer have those choices. So, and that's going to make things really hard for them, and the consequences that will follow will not be good ones. So I just disagree with everything. But I do think it's really hard to decide when life begins. And I know that this whole argument comes back to, when does life begin?
Well, that's the thing. Neither of us being glib about going, it's fine, just kill all your babies.
No.
We understand that it's a really sensitive issue, and there are like pros and cons to both sides. But I think ultimately, regardless of how I feel about it, if I think it's wrong or right, it's like, I think it should be her choice whether she wants to get one or not. Like, the government should have no say in that. And just in the same way that pro-gun people who happen to be the pro-lifers, they don't want the government involved in laws about guns. They're like, the government should have no like say in whether or not I should be allowed a gun. It's like, well then surely you also believe that the government should have no say in whether a woman makes a personal decision to get rid of her child. Like, you can't have it both ways. You can't have it both ways. You can't have your cake and eat it, you can't,
as they say. So yeah, I think that's basically our thoughts on it, isn't it?
It is. And I know some of you won't care for it. You'll have switched off by now anyway, so that's fine. 10 hours ago. But I think it's important that we stand up for what we believe in. And put it out there. So if you are one of those people that is celebrating this new law and you really like us, hopefully you can take a moment to like really think about it and be like, well, I like Joel and Leah, and like I respect their opinion, so I want to like just do a bit more research into this, rather than just believing everything you've always been taught, because we've both had that Christian upbringing of going, it's like murder from day one. And actually, once we've engaged our brain a bit, it's like, is it? Because obviously I went to Catholic school and then like Sundays, Greek church, but I did Google. I said, does the Greek Orthodox Church agree with abortion? And it said that the top result was like, the Greek Orthodox faith believes that abortion is absolutely wrong on all. So they're very much of the opinion it's absolutely wrong. But the priest that at my Greek church, like, he's quite like, he doesn't disagree with gay people. He's really like, what is the word? Progressive. So I will, next time I see him, I might say to him like, what are your thoughts on this? Because I find that, you know, we're all moving forwards, aren't we? We're all like waking up a bit, and I think that we've got to, no matter what the scriptures say, people are gonna hate me for this, but you've got to kind of like make your own decisions about what you think is right and wrong. And I don't think we should all live our lives according to something that was written so long ago. I just don't think that that's going to help us. And again, it's a personal choice. It's like, I'm a Christian, but I don't expect any of my friends who are non-Christians to live their life by standards that I keep for myself. It's like, because they're not Christian, so why would you enforce that? So why, so basically the whole thing is like, so why is the government being so religious? Why can't they just be a government that govern according to not religion? Yeah. And people think that they're moral. They think the Supreme Court are moral because they've decided on this. And it's like, well, they're not, because they're not campaigning against guns. Again, sorry to come back to that, but it's just a double standard.
Yeah.
Like, and surely, even if you're sat there and you're pro-gun, you can see the double standard there, because you're like, it makes no sense.
Yeah.
You think you're fighting for life. Well, you're not, because you're literally like not putting any limits or restrictions on access to guns. It makes no sense.
Makes no sense. So yeah, I agree with what Joel said earlier. Though, maybe if you're someone who is celebrating this right now, maybe you can see our point of view and all the different points of views, and not, you probably already switched off and gone, but it's just, I think it's important to go onto your timeline and search for the opposite of what you're thinking of, and then go and watch it and absorb it and really ask yourselves questions like, do I agree with that? Why is that right? Why is that wrong?
And just because the Bible says it is not enough justification, because I can also see people going, well, because the Bible said, yeah, but not everyone's a Christian, so you can't then dictate. That's when life becomes a dictatorship, because you're like, even though all of you are from different religions, different beliefs, you all have to go based on my book. Yeah. It's like, that's not a good enough excuse.
Yeah.
If you don't want an abortion, don't get one.
Yeah,
but
exactly.
Don't limit other people in doing that.
Yeah. I can't. If the book makes the rules, I'm going to hell. I am going to hell. I've gone to hell 10 years ago. So yeah. See you there, ladies and gents.
See you there. We love you guys. See you soon.
See you soon. Bye.